Max and Erma's were once the undisputed kings of the northeastern U.S. hospitality industry. They had more than 100 locations with millions of dollars in profit. But today, everything has gone down the drain, and the story of their fall from grace is extraordinary. Welcome to the puzzling story of Max and Erma's. Max Vysocnik, a World War II veteran, was confused. It was 1958, 13 years after the World War, yet he had not found a direction for his life. Max and his wife, Erma Vysocnik, were searching for a business that could support their family, but they couldn't come up with anything meaningful. Everything appeared lucrative. You see, the 1950s was a decade of prosperity for the U.S. The government was paying subsidies for food production, the economy grew by 37%, and every industry was growing fast. But none of them grew as fast as the fast food industry. Companies like McDonald's, KFC Chicken, and Burger King spread. Their marketing convinced Americans about the benefits of eating fast food, so the fast food market was a gold mine. The couple decided to invest in fast food. In 1958, they bought Lamprecht's Hall, a three-story pub known as Kaiser's Cafe during the Prohibition era, and started their own business, Max and Erma's. Max and Erma did not benefit from the fast food gold rush. They worked 6 days a week in their new venture, but progress was minimal, and after 14 years of toiling, they decided it was time to sell. That marked the beginning of a new era for the company. Unlike most young men, Barry Zacks had a certain future after graduating college. His family had a prospering business, R.G. Barry Footwears. All he had to do was take up a position in the company and live comfortably. However, young Barry had a new dream. During his university days at Cornell University in New York, Barry witnessed the rise of TGI Friday, and he was convinced he could replicate the same idea in his hometown German village, Columbus City. So in 1972, he and Todd Barnum, a manager at F&R Lazarus & Company, bought the Lamprecht's Hall from Max and Erma. Barry was a natural restaurateur. He changed the atmosphere of the business after buying it. His ideas weren't different from those of other restaurants in that era, but Barry had a unique approach. He was all about the vibe and the atmosphere. He placed nostalgic photos and moose head trophies in the restaurant and changed to windows and doors Tiffany-style stained glass. Barry also placed telephones and beer taps at every table. The plan was to create a chatty environment and entice singles to call potential partners in the restaurant, and it was very successful. The company became a popular place for singles, and by the late 1970s, it had at least 10 restaurants in locations like Cincinnati and Kentucky. However, this massive growth came at a price. And if you like to learn about the history of your favorite eateries, be sure to subscribe for more content like this. Barry needed money to expand, so he followed the franchising route. Individual investors owned and operated the different locations, and on paper, everything the company did was growing. However, reality was different. Less than 20% of the company's locations were making a profit. The company needed a new direction. It needed a path that would allow it to grow without sacrificing profitability. But that path would be its road to death. Barry and Todd Barnum took their company public in 1982, and capital from the company's IPO allowed it to continue its expansion. However, this capital came with constraints. You see, Barry Zack was a dreamer. He was all about exploring, but his investors wanted one thing: profit. Barry's explorative approach to the business wasn't bringing profit. The only thing that was growing in the company was its menu, which was more of Barry's whims than a product of research. So there was a conflict of interest. Investors were far from happy. They openly criticized his decisions, and by 1986, 4 years after going public, Zach Barry was forced to leave his company. The company's board and executive team combined to buy his 20% stake in the restaurant chain, and Todd Barnum, the company's president, replaced Barry. However, Barry's position wasn't the only thing Barnum replaced. He replaced his ideas. He eliminated all the telephones on the dining tables, reduced the menu size, and changed the name of some of the chain's popular servings. Barnum changed the company from a singles hub to a family hangout. At first, Barnum's idea was successful. The company made a $300,000 profit in his first year as CEO, and after 3 years in office, sales revenue grew from $16.5 million in 1986 to a record $24.3 million in 1989. The company was growing fast. It was a success story. However, the early 1990s recession slowed its progress. Net income dropped below $500,000 in 1991, and expansion slowed. 2 years later, in 1993, fortune smiled at the company. Sales revenue grossed $43.5 million in 1993 and grew to $79.9 million in 1996. That same year, 1996, the chain grew to 40 locations in Midwestern United States. This this growth masked a big problem. The 2000s was a decade of ill luck for the company. A combo of ill luck and bad decisions crippled it. However, the straw that broke the camel's back is its unoriginality. Listen, the 80s and 90s were the golden era of the American fast food industry. Americans were eager to eat and try out new delicacies, and competition was low, so adequate planning was enough to attract customers. However, the story changed in the 2000s. The American public became more health conscious. At the same time, technology made it easier for anybody to open a fast food restaurant. So fast food companies need adequate planning, a unique brand, and a loyal customer base to stay afloat. Max and Erma's had none of this. The countless changes after Barry left made it a generic fast food chain. So the fast changes in the fast food industry in the early 2000s made it a sure target for failure. Fortunately, help wasn't far away. G&R Acquisitions bought the company for $10.2 million in April 2008, but the new owners couldn't guide it past the Great Recession. By October 2009, the company filed for bankruptcy. Fortune smiled on the company once again, and in 2010, American Blue Ribbon Holdings bought it out of bankruptcy for $28 million. They invested money and remodeled the buildings, yet they were unable to stop the rot. After 6 years of trying, the 2010 American Blue Ribbon Holdings sold it off to Montana-based Glacier Restaurant Group. So far, the Glacier Restaurant Group has yet to revive the casual dine-in chain and has only 5 locations. Max and Erma were once royals in the restaurant industry, but today it's struggling to survive. Barry Zacks built the restaurant chain to be a unique brand with unique offerings in the 1950s, but the company's lack of progress made the board to force him out, and his co-founder eliminated most of the company's uniqueness. Do you think the restaurant chain would have gone to greater heights if its founder hadn't left the company? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to support our channel.